What up, nerds, and welcome to another high-interest episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name's Bob, and I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 472, recorded Monday, April 22nd, 2024. Tonight we're talking about another Patreon pick. This was chosen by your boy Dongster Sam. The movie is Drag My Ass to Hell from 2009. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Randeezy. What's up, man?
Groovy.
How's it going, buddy? It's good to get here and talk some Raimi. It's a Raimi day around these parts. I'm excited.
It's been a minute since we've reviewed a Raimi flick. Army of Darkness might have been the last one, which was 2019 or something. Yeah, it's a long-ass time.
Been saving it for a Raimi day.
All right, Dad.
This is what you tune in for, apparently.
Last but not least, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy. Get your filthy pig knuckles off my podcast stains.
That'll leave a stain.
Get them off.
Pigs don't have knuckles. They got hooves.
Bob.
Everybody knows. You pickle them and they're delicious.
Clearly, you're not a friend to the pig, Bob, or you would know.
I guess you weren't born year of the pig, Bob. Okay, we get it.
I was born year of the Bob.
Oh, wow.
Bob.
It's a strong year.
Whoa.
Bobble. Oh,
You're
boy.
the Bobbo.
People born year of the Bob were, have a tendency to over obsess about, buying things, I guess.
Yeah, we're going to create our own horoscope today
What's
on this episode.
The blue version of jaundice. That's what you got. The year
a tendency for collecting.
I think that's hypothermia, maybe.
Yeah, that's the one. That's what you got. Born year of the Bob.
Got you a bad case of hypothermia. Symptoms are showing in the form of mini Blu-ray discs on your walls.
I know. Shouts outs to your boy Dongster Sam for picking this week's flick. We do appreciate it, my dude. Before we get into the review, let's tackle a little bit of housekeeping real quick. If you support us over on our Patreon at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this May. Our May poll is currently posted. This is Justin's Takeover Month. Juice, what's the theme and what are the movies?
Whoa, this is your last week. Maybe we'll get a huge swing over here last week of April. But my Takeover Month was Korean Creature Comforts. Ooh, it's early. And Creature Comforts is our spinoff show, which is where we cover horror adjacent films. So I picked 3 Korean horror adjacent films for us to potentially cover on this podcast. They are Memories of Murder, The Handmaiden, and Burning. Bob, how are those numbers looking?
Memories of Murder still in first place with 61% of the vote.
Whoa, it dropped significantly, though.
It did, yeah. Not the Burning, just Burning is scooching up 30% of the vote.
Okay. And, it was at like 70%. I mean, significantly is 10%.
Significantly kind of threw me. I was like, I thought it was like in the 70s. I don't know.
I mean, that's a chunk. That's a chunk.
Holy shit. That's a chunk, yeah.
Sitting at 9%. Nobody gives a shit about The Handmaiden.
Apparently not.
But you know how these things go, man. Like, it's... This
you
last
never know.
week, people they lose their fucking minds. They go crazy over our polls.
I think they know exactly what they're doing.
They change
their minds. Psychosis.
They start buying
psychosis that I start voting more than once.
It's they create like
all
fake
those mail-in.
That's what got Capone, man.
We have to collect all those mail-in ballots. It's just a huge swing there at the end. Oh, Bob's getting all the mail-in.
Send them over to 6969 Ream My Ass Lane, and we'll see what you got. Get your votes in before the end of the month.
That's a one-lane road.
We'll see. It's a one-way in,
but it's a double wide.
It is.
You can really swerve down that road.
Can do some donuts and not on that.
Plenty of room for your semis, extra wide lanes.
God, if they didn't tune out at my dad joke, they're definitely tuned out now. All right, we're alone here.
I mean, it's a Raimi film. We can let loose.
It's a Raimi.
Here.
You're right.
It is PG-13,
but it's also
though.
PG-13.
Yeah, so all the kids.
But this show is not.
Are probably laughing.
Decidedly not.
No, it's not. Get your votes in for the end of the month. We'll see what we're talking about this May. In other Patreon news, we're dropping mini casts every other Friday. Recently, we dropped a mini cast where Randeezy was talking about Lisa Frankenstein. And we got another one dropping this coming Friday, the 26th. Another Randeezy joint coming at you, talking about Immaculate.
Oh, wow. I doubled down.
Whoa.
You did.
Randeezy. You're the Randeezy.
Killing it.
That's right.
Killing the game.
Yeah. You know how I am. I'm really, really heavy in the mini episodes. That's kind of my thing. So
you've been killing it recently.
The bonus episodes, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Immaculate. Yeah, I recently watched it, and it totally doesn't suck.
Whoa.
Surprise, surprise. Sydney Sweeney, she's got it going on, man. It's apparently like nuns are a big thing this year too, with The Omen and this coming out like back to back, you know. Maybe there'll be more, I don't know, but
I'm down.
I guess so. It's not like, you know, Catholicism is completely untread territory in the horror realm, of course.
It's true.
Never see a nun in a film.
It's brand
with
new
horrors
subgenre. First time ever.
Yep.
You heard it here, folks. Check out Randeezy's thoughts on Immaculate dropping this Friday over on our Patreon website. In other Patreon news, we got a brand new Patreon supporter we got to give mad shouts outs to. A giant thank you to Robert for signing up on Patreon, showing us some love. Every dollar you guys contribute goes right back into the show. It truly helps us keep the show going. So, as is tradition around these here parts, we owe Robert the straight chilling salute. This one goes out to you, my guy.
Oh, God, slap me in the ass.
Thank you, Robert, for slapping me in the ass.
Thank you.
Rob, how many times you heard that in your life? That exact phrase.
Every goddamn day.
That's right. I knew it.
Thanks for slapping me in the ass, Robert.
This is after your morning shower where you just smack your ass incessantly the whole time.
Staring at
you look in
into
the
my
mirror
own
and thank
eyes
yourself.
in the mirror. Yeah.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. May I have another? Oh.
This is some deep lore.
It is.
I'm just a little fucked up, you know.
God
I guess so. That sounds pretty normal to me.
So that's all I got for Patreon. Joe Bob's doing his thing over at the Last Drive-In every other Friday, and this coming Friday, the 26th, is going to be a Walpurgis Nacht themed episode, and we're going to be doing a watch party for that. Starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, and right before showtime, I'll blast a link to all of our socials. Click that, join the Zoom watch party. You can chat with everybody else. It's watching, and come hang out. It's always a good time. Looking forward to some more Joe Bob.
Cool.
Yeah.
Walpurgis Nacht.
That's
Man,
all.
Joe Bob's just
Never heard of her.
style. Yeah, I mean, somebody else I know is celebrating that famous holiday.
Who could that be?
I don't know.
Man.
I don't know a lot of people, so
They're almost all on this podcast currently.
Every person
there's
I know
just
is
one
here on
missing.
this call.
Just one. That's all I got, dudes. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Not this week. No. My
All
house
right,
is
Bob.
clean.
Last chance. Is your house clean?
As clean as the inside of my booty cheeks.
Well,
Make of that what you will.
That tells a whole kinds of.
we'll
that
we'll
tells a
give
whole
you another
bunch of
minute
different
then.
stories. Yeah, let's get you think about this for a second.
All right.
All right.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking Drag Me to Hell, kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Thank God we're reviewing a Raimi film here, because man, I think we're all a little punch-drunk tired right now.
We're in a mood.
Yeah.
Sleepy toddler mood.
Really,
That's fair to
really,
say.
very, the lowest hanging fruit. We've gone past the lowest hanging fruit. We're getting the fruit off the ground at this point.
And we're about 10 minutes in, so off to a good start.
Blowing off a little steam. That's all it is. We're talking.
I saw you had this. Saw you had this box. It got some good features on that box.
It's got good features on the box. This I got the Blu-ray put out from Scream Factory here. It's got the theatrical and unrated version, both 2K digital restorations. Got a bunch of interviews.
I don't know which one I watched, to be honest. Is there much difference between the unrated version?
I don't think there can be. There's probably a little bit more blood and guts, but I looked at the runtime on both the discs, and they're identical. So, like, there can't be much.
There's
difference.
no...
Well, you guys got a better experience tonight, or you got a better experience than I did, for sure, because I watched on Shudder, and for some reason, it is absolutely a version of the show, of the movie, intended for broadcast with commercial breaks, because they have fade outs to commercial all the way through.
That's weird.
And then the credits just blast through, like Kent Brockman's going to come in half screen in a second and talk about the next show.
Somebody
weird.
Fucked up.
That's really
I know,
weird.
It's very fucking weird. Shudder's usually more meticulous than that, at least in my experience.
Let me call Joe Bob right now and get him on it.
Yeah.
He'll sort the whole thing out. Joe Bob.
Put me on the horn with Joe Bob.
Well, I didn't have that version, so that's good.
Yeah. So Drag Me Down from 2009, PG-13, runtime of an hour and 39 minutes. This was written and directed by Sam Raimi. Stars Alison Lohman, Justin Long, Ruth Liviere, a bunch of other wonderful folks. Plot synopsis brought to you by the back of the box is as follows. Christine Brown is on her way to having it all, a devoted boyfriend, a hard-earned job promotion, and a bright future. But when she has to make a tough call that evicts an elderly woman from her house, Christine becomes the victim of an evil curse. Now she has only 3 days to dissuade a dark spirit from stealing her soul before she is dragged to hell for an eternity of unthinkable torment. Gentlemen,
there's going to be some hell to pay here!
Have we seen this movie before, and would we recommend folks check it out? Randeezy, kick us off.
I do believe, and I could be mistaken, that I think you and I, at least, Bob, maybe all three of us with a bigger group went to see this in theaters. Does that sound right to you guys?
That does sound right, yeah.
I know I watched it in theaters.
I was not there in the
You
theater.
weren't there? Okay. All right. I definitely saw this in theaters, though. I've seen it a number of times since. At one point, before I sold off a lot of my own crutch of a collection of discs, I had a copy of this.
Before you freed yourself.
Yeah, before I liberated myself from consumerism. I exist in a void now.
I got a chain king. Tie me down. I'm with it.
I know you do, buddy. I know you do.
A ball and chain.
King.
Watch your profanity.
So yeah, I've seen this movie. I do recommend this movie. If you're into Sam Raimi at all, this is like maybe the most Raimi horror film, which is saying something. It's a lot. It's always much every time I watch it, it's much sillier than I remember from the last time. So go in knowing that. If you like horror comedies, if you like a little gross out, if you have a teenager that you think might be interested in watching a horror movie, but you are scared to go to the R rating because, I don't know, you're dating their mom or something. I don't know. But
damn.
This is a good one. This is a good one for you. That exact scenario was relayed to me by a buddy. That's why it's like so specific.
In case you got a teenager and you're just plowing this mom, you still want to show him some spooky shit. This is a good one.
Here, watch a Star Wars, kid.
Never date a mom.
That's the
That's the
man. Rule here.
That's why soju rule
We
number
call them
13.
fallen
Just
women.
another form of baggage. Blu-rays, kids, it's all the fucking same, man. Travel light. Travel light.
Yeah,
Justin has
that's
nothing
about
but a
right.
go bag in his name.
I've got a to-go bag ready to go, boys,
And
just in case,
It's just filled with dildos and lube. And that's fucking it.
Damn, the essentials. All right.
All right.
Bare ass essentials. Okay, Juice. What about you?
Yes, I would echo that. This is a very silly, over the top, wackadoo type of movie, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those movies that I feel like you can put on with a decent amount of people, or like variation of people, even if they're not like super into horror. It's so like kind of silly and over the top that I think it could like fly with some more general audiences to an extent. It is like very goopy and stuff, but yeah, I mean, it is Sam Raimi to its core, and very silly, very fun, campy type of horror. So yeah, I would recommend people check it out. Bob, how about you? Would you recommend people check this out? Oh, I had seen this before, at least once, probably a few times, honestly. Bob, how about you?
Yeah, same. I'd seen this a handful of times. I'm pretty sure I did go see it in the theater with you, Randy. And yeah, I generally would recommend checking this one out. It's super, super hammy. So if you want something that's in that vein, I think this is going to work out for you. I do think, like, in my memory, this was more positive than I felt this go around. Maybe it's a touch dated here and there, but overall, yeah, it's super fun. It's just a super fun, goofy movie. So yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it. And that sounds like a pretty general recommendation across the board, I'd say, from Straight Chilling.
It's a firm recommend.
Solid, firm, hard recommend. And we're going to be spoiling the shit out of Drag My Ass to Hell, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
I love that, like, us going to Duval County Public Schools led to us having the filthiest fucking mouths of all time. Like, you just cursed 3 times instead of breathing, you're cursing, and I know I do the same thing.
You've met my parents. It's probably had more to do with them than anything, but
that's fair.
They only get minor credit from me because I think it was the schools that did it to me.
Yeah, your folks were a little cleaner than.
Oh yeah,
mine were too. Yeah, but it's got to be the school,
my folks.
Yeah.
All
right,
Bob. You're a bad influence. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it's all Bob. Bob, you got that plot synopsis?
I do indeed. Come with me on this journey, folks.
Come with me, Bish, and you'll see Bish. All right.
Point made.
Yeah. So in 1969, Pasadena, we see a Hispanic couple seek help from a young medium named Sean Sandina. They say their son Juan is ill, and he hears evil voices after stealing a silver necklace from a gypsy's wagon. Sandina prepares a seance, but an unseen force attacks them and fatally drags Juan to hell. We then jump forward to present-day Pasadena, and we see loan officer Christine Brown vying for the assistant manager's position at her bank against her condescending piece-of-shit coworker, Stu. In an effort to seem decisive in front of her boss, she denies a third mortgage extension for a sickly elderly woman, Miss Ganesh. We see... when she gets denied, she gets down on her knees and literally begs Christine. At this point, security escorts her out of the building. Later, when Christine leaves work, Ganesh is waiting in her car, and they have a very strange brawl that results in Ganesh taking a button off Christine's jacket and cursing her. Christine stops to get her fortune read soon after by Ram Jass, who confirms someone has cursed her and is notably scared by the whole situation and offers to refund her money. Clay, Christine's boyfriend, is very skeptical of the situation. Christine ends up going home and gets her ass whooped by a mysterious demon wind. Again, Clay says she's just reliving her previous trauma and nothing really happened. Clay drops Christine off at work since her car has been totaled since the brawl, and she launches blood out of her nose and mouth. She goes to the Ganesh house and stumbles into a funeral for Miss Ganesh and knocks the body over. Ram says the Lamia is the spirit after Christine, and she should make an animal sacrifice to appease him. She kills a cat, but it doesn't help. Clay takes Christine to his parents' house for the first time, and she hallucinates, causing her to freak out and run off. Ram says Christine must speak directly to the Lamia and dissuade it from taking her. They enlist the help of a medium, Sean Sandina, who costs $10,000. Clay finally does fucking something to help and pays for it. The seance goes horribly wrong, and Sean Sandina dies. Rom now says she can gift the button to someone else, which will transfer the curse to them, but she only has until morning to do so. She tries to give it to her shit coworker Stu, but can't bring herself to do it. She asks Rom if she can gift it to someone who has died, and he says, yeah, that'll work. She digs up Ganush's corpse and crams the button into her mouth. The following morning, everything seems fine. She meets Clay at a train station to go on vacation where he plans to propose. He mentions he found an envelope in his car with her jacket button in it, and she must have taken his envelope with his Liberty quarter in it by mistake. She freaks out and falls backwards onto the train tracks. As the train barrels towards her, the ground opens up and several hands grab her and drag her to hell. Roll them credits. Boys.
Yep.
All right. Bob, what was it about this film that took it down a scotch for you this time?
I think and this is nitpicky because, it is what it is, but some of the CGI really looks bad in this. Specifically, that talking goat head was like bad.
Well, it is, but that's not that's not the thing.
It's so silly that I love it.
It's so silly. There's plenty other to point towards though. The eye and the cake there's
the eye was the worst, I think. Where
that's the one that really stood out to me.
That doesn't look good. Sorry, go ahead, Bob.
In addition to that, I felt like Justin Long was just so underutilized in this movie. His character really doesn't hardly do anything.
That's fair. We've covered a decent amount of Justin Long where he's really pulling his weight, and Well, that's true.
He's much more passive in this one, but also this might be on the lower end of Justin Long being a total dickbag in a horror movie. He doesn't quite lean into that here.
Yeah.
And that was not an established trope for him at that point, I guess, because I don't know what
he had done Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers is the only one I can think of, and I don't think he was really hitting that note there either.
No,
but I think he kind of does though. Justin Long is so. I think he accidentally goes smarmier than he needs to sometimes. And when he's talking down to the medium or whatever, it's a little bit it's a little. I don't know. It's a lot, but in a kind of a funny way. And they just don't let it linger too long. I think that they could have easily had him be the dismissive boyfriend all the way through, and instead they gave he comes through in the clutch or tries to.
Mm-hmm.
I do think,
I don't know. It's just a nice turn for him, I guess.
I think this movie overall is just better suited as a midnight movie. Watching it in a theater full of people, or have some friends over and watch it, because it's so goofy and slapsticky. It's it didn't really make me laugh, but I probably would have laughed more if I was watching it with y'all and we were joking about it.
I laughed out loud a couple times, and I've seen.
I did too. Yeah, I generally had a good time with it. I think I had. I don't think quite as strong as experiences, but it's been a few years since I've seen this. I would say at least 5 years since I've seen this. And the one thing that really kind of stood out to me as rubbing me more wrong this time around was the grossness. The woman taking her teeth out. I don't know, just just some of the grossness of it. I was just oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Really?
It's pretty gross.
One of my favorite parts about the movie. Actually, so to speak to your experience, Bob, I think I kind of had that, maybe not about the same things, but I had a similar reaction the last time I watched it where I was man, some of this just didn't hold up, and it's definitely the CG is kind of chief among them, and I still hold that opinion. But watching it this time, it's always funnier than I remember it being. And it always I don't know, I like the grossness of it. To me, I was talking with some friends about this morning online, and what I eventually concluded was that I think this is Sam Raimi looked in the mirror and said, I'm going to parody you. And so he made this movie. Or either that, or he was people complain about, wanting to watch Evil Dead with their kids. So I'm going to make a movie that's more accessible to kids. As a challenge to myself, but hits all of the same goofy ass fucking Evil Dead 2 notes as possible.
Yeah.
What it lacks is the fun effects, the fun practical effects.
Effects, yeah.
Alison Lohman does a serviceably good job. I think she does fine, but she is no Bruce Campbell. She doesn't have that same riz, as the children say.
You're so hip, Randy. Oh my god!
Whoa,
I know.
Randy,
I learned a word. I learned a word that probably came out 10 years ago.
Are you wearing Jinkos right now?
You know I am, buddy.
Damn, you're cool.
Same ones from 1995.
Hell yeah. Still covered in
that's probably even early,
Fruitopia or whatever.
They've got so much denim each year, you could just roll them up and they're still huge.
They got 3D Cheetos stains on them.
Damn.
And string things in the pocket. Anyway. Yeah, no, I don't know. I really like this movie for being like, it just ramps up like the goofiness and the schlock and the like the grossness as much as possible. And what's funny about it to me is that like so much of this movie is played straight, and that's why I forget how comedic it is. Like the actors are playing this dead straight 90% of the time, 95% of the time, and then like a corpse of a woman will jump onto Alison Lohman for the fourth time and like drip drool into her mouth. And it's like,
dude.
This is
oh my god,
so ridiculous. It makes me laugh really hard, honestly. Like it's just like the gross out for gross out's sake is normally like not my thing, but it works for me here. I think it's just like mixed with like true honest to God, like going for it, like horror acting. It works somehow.
It mostly works for me too. It's just this time around, I was just like, oh, like that specific with the her taking her teeth out, the corpse spewing shit into her mouth. Also, her
spew into this.
Her nosebleed going all over that guy, and I'd be like, "Let me get in my mouth." It's like it's so ridiculous, funny, but at the same time, it's like, "Oh god!"
That's some of my favorite shit in this movie for sure. It's
me too, man.
Her drooly ass like gumming on like Alison Lohman's chin in the car. I fucking love that shit. It's so heinous. All that works for me. Also, something else that's like kind of classic Raimi is that man loves like a spooky demon wind. This wind just beats the shit out of Alison Lohman in this movie over and over and over again. Classic Raimi.
Well, the unseen big bad is another one too. Like there's basically a couple of deadites in this movie, one of which being the goat, the other of which being the goat handler or the assistant or whatever.
Yeah.
Who like does a full like floating in air
dancing.
A little like gyrate. I mean, like this is so much out of his own playbook that I have to think that he's kind of like doing it in spite of the haters or like have some sort of like motivation to be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go full bore into what people see me as and just fucking have fun with it. I think
it is surprising this is PG-13, honestly. I mean, there's a decent, I guess some of the gore is replaced by goop, but I mean there's still like a decent amount of it.
Is like, it seems like that would be enough, but I guess it's not.
I guess
I don't know, man. It's so silly, and I think like I don't know if I wondered if you're in your trivia, Bob, if you cover the like who's responsible for that PG-13, if it was the studio's call or Sam Raimi's call to do that.
That I didn't see anywhere, but it doesn't feel like he was being reserved in any way here.
Oh no, I mean you still got your like your bitches in there, you know, like I beat you, you old bitch. I mean, I don't know what it takes to get an R, but you got your bitches for sure. And then
it's like it's like he wanted to walk as close to the line as possible, but keep it accessible to a younger generation. And also like I agree, like this doesn't feel R to me even on its face, or I mean, I'm sorry, it doesn't seem PG-13 to me even on its face, because like so much of this movie is like talking about loans and
well, that's true horror, Randy.
Yes, but the children just
financial responsibility.
I don't know. It's like it's played very straight half the time, and then it's also like covered in like very adult talk in the middle of it. That's very dry and dull, despite like saved by the way it's filmed. So it's like it kind of feels like it was like, okay, I have this R-rated movie, but I want kids to be able to watch it too. So I'm just going to make it gross and a lot of like really. And with a lot of key excuses for why it's not quite as bad, so that the censors will let it slip
and it's feeling
right.
It feels
completely cartoony.
It doesn't feel like threatening when you're watching. It's like, oh my god, that's crazy. That's some crazy shit right there.
Yeah, it goes from the Nun to Looney Tunes like that, like instantaneously.
Well, actually, I think it kind of ramps up. I always kind of the first half of this movie always makes me, or not even first half, I would say the first third always make the way it's played so straight, and even though the fight scenes and stuff are goofy, but I don't feel like it becomes so Looney Tunes, even with the blood spurting out of her nose and stuff. I'm trying to think where the goat definitely feels like one of the goofiest things, and everything after that is pretty goofy. That's definitely more like to the back third, but I always feel kind of bad for the character at first because it's played more serious and that I know what's going to happen to her. And the way they play it pretty straight up front with, they set up this drama with the parents and, just like her as a person, like she's working so hard and she's trying to get ahead. And so it has this kind of grounded level where you really do feel bad for the main character, and knowing that she's going to get dragged to hell then always kind of bumps me out until it turns into Looney Tunes, until you go to this old spooky graveyard and it's raining, or until this fucking goat starts talking to you, or, like shit like that. So I don't know. I don't think it's so cartoony all the way through. I think there is a decent amount of groundedness to it.
There is. And like when I say that it turns, I'm saying it turns on a dime when it goes into Looney Tunes mode. You know what I mean? Like I think it does kind of ramp up the amount of that you see overall. The average of that goes up for sure. And by the end, it's like through the roof.
Yeah.
But yeah, towards the beginning, they really set a grounded level thing. With a few like odd, quirky things, like I don't know. There's something like a little bit mean-spirited feeling about like making out one of Allison's big problems is that she used to be a fat girl. Like I don't know. That seems like some sort of weird low-hanging fruit that has no purpose ultimately except to make her insecure. And I'm like, I don't know. Like the circumstances of these events should make her insecure, or like being from a farm was enough. Like. I don't know. Like things like that were weird. And then also like, this is something that I've just recently learned, but apparently like, I didn't know this, but the word gypsy is considered a slur now. And
that was going to be a thing I was going to touch on too. Yeah.
Romani is the proper term now. And like, I feel like this definitely does lean into some pretty rough ethnic stereotypes that until like very, very recently seemed to be fair game, the same way that like poking fun at the Irish is fair game, like, but not so much anymore. And I don't know the history, and that's literally all that I know. But I just want to point that out because I think that is a developing flavor change for acceptability.
Yeah. I don't think they ever actually say the word gypsy in this movie, but that's clearly.
Oh, they definitely do.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, well,
he says when he opens the book and he's talking about the goat, I think it's this. He definitely says they use the gypsies use the black goat to do their worst biddings. Definitely. I think it's dropped a couple times, to be honest. I would say 2 or 3 if I had to guess.
And even if it's not, like it's clearly a gypsy
curse movie,
like a caricature. Like there's no way around it. So
that's true.
Yeah, it's got some baggage there that I don't think that they really anticipated back when this was coming out.
Yeah.
Always makes me think of that terrible Simpsons sketch too. That's like legit one of my least favorite Treehouse of Horrors is the gypsy curse where he has to catch the leprechaun and like unleash. We covered it last year, I think.
I don't remember it now. So
it's legit like one of my least favorite ones. Oh my god. It's the one where he curses them, but all his family gets cursed. So Marge ends up like super hairy with like blue hair and stuff. Nah, maybe we'll revisit
blue hair on Marge.
Her whole body. Anyways,
but anyway, I just wanted to point that out, and we can move on. But that seems worth noting.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. There's some some things that are just dated in this movie, but the thing is, like, that's also true of Evil Dead. That's true of so many of Raimi's films. Like, they're kind of all of their time, and I think the CG is also an aspect of that. And maybe if we get in the future where like it's not like, I don't know, in a future where we're not as like
sensitive
or so or just that like it's so far developed and there's so much better like intricacies to how that's done that seeing that stuff in its schlockiest form is more humorous, the way that like the schlockiness of Evil Dead 1, that those effects are like charming now. Maybe we'll hit that point eventually, but it definitely seems like early late 2000s level of CG, even not good for that time, I would say.
Yeah, it's kind of rough.
This feels, this, especially too, when you're considering other movies that came out around the time, like, we did cover Insidious and Conjuring just a couple years later. This does feel like one of those last moments of the era leading up. Like, this doesn't feel like one of those movies moving into the new era. This definitely feels like a movie that's related more to the films that came before it, in my mind. It's like, as
Avatar
a film
came
saying
out the same year.
Saying like this is a movie that came out in 2009, I definitely associate it more with films of 2000, 2006, 2000. I see it more of like as a product of the films that came right up to it, and then almost like being a kind of era that then died, and we moved on to the next one with your It Follows and your Conjurings and your everything that kind of came after. Yeah, so I definitely think it's like kind of like the last stamp of a kind of more goofy era, or one that we don't take as seriously and stuff like that.
And maybe this movie had something to do with that, because it does lean so goofy that it's like, okay, like I think the tide was definitely turning. We were getting into like Paranormal Activity and things like that around this time. At the same time, and this is the same year Avatar came out, and I think Paranormal Activity was around this year, if maybe a year after or something like that. And so like horror split off towards that and started completely not paying as like neglecting the CG arm for a while, because it was not there enough for horror. I don't think in a lot of cases, unless you had a huge budget.
That's
or some like
the birth
really
of
good artist behind it.
with Paranormal Activities. So that definitely course corrected a lot of stuff, and James Wan doing his thing, and so that branches out to a whole different tree for sure. The dinner sequence in this movie is probably one of my favorite scenes. It like reminded me a bit of Dead Alive, when they're eating that like heinous looking custard with goop falling into it as their like faces melt and shit. I liked that sort of vibe, but it also, I thought like the parents, for being just sort of, characters you only see in the one scene, did a really good job. Like the mother is such a piece of shit towards Allison Lohman in this, and I just, that sort of like back and forth banter where like she treats her so disrespectful, and then she like, it's starting to warm up to her, but then she has her breakdown and she's like, don't even follow her, let her go. She's like kind of this roller coaster. I don't know, I just really like that dinner scene. There seemed to be a lot of like emotions happening, where other scenes in the movie just kind of are played more for laughs, I guess.
Well, that's a good point, because I also too, talking about the other scenes surrounding that and the feeling of this movie, you're right, because I did feel a little bit of fatigue of repetitiveness. It did feel a little bit like so many scenes ended up being very, very similar. When she goes back to her house, she gets attacked by the shadow in the first, when she first comes home. Then she has another run in like with the old lady in the garage, where she like drops the anvil on it. There's just a couple scenes that take place in kind of like the same location. And it's just, I don't know. I did feel a little fatigue of like, okay, we probably could have trimmed, 15 minutes maybe of this movie, and like some of these scenes that feel like kind of samey. But you're right. That one did kind of stick out as being one of the more unique ones. Yeah. I like that.
I suppose so. It does repeat itself in terms of like beats, but like all the like set pieces are at least a little bit different. And I don't know.
I just think we have a lot going on in her house that all feels kind of samey. Like she gets attacked by the shadow at first. She has the dream where the lady comes and spits bugs on her face. She does the thing in the garage that I just mentioned. I feel like there's one more too. I feel like, I don't know, something about her house.
She kills the kitten.
She kills the cat.
Yeah, she kills the cat,
which is off screen. If it was on screen, that would definitely get an R rating. But God, I like the sort of deadite during the seance sequence when he like spits the dead cat up and he's like, I don't want your sacrifice. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, dude, that's just like so fucking over the top. I love that, because that to me, like but the friend I was talking to about this movie, it was like, I don't know if I should show this to my, adolescent, soon to be daughter-in-law, if it's going to be, cause like they're fine with pretty much everything except for the cat killing. That's the thing that kind of.
Wait, my adolescent soon to be daughter-in-law? What is that? What?
Yeah, my soon to be daughter.
His friend's
That's
about to
an
get married to
adolescent?
someone
Who's
who
an
has a kid.
adolescent.
How old?
I'm talking about like a 14-year-old kid. What is
He's not married.
I thought
to
the
adolescent.
two. Yeah, I thought you were marrying or I thought the person was marrying an adolescent, soon to be daughter-in-law adolescent. Like,
Randy's friends, they're into some.
They live on a
fucked up
compound in
I
Utah.
was like, wait a second.
No.
Stop. I was like, well, do we need to fix the
No.
situation?
No.
Get him
He is
on the
getting
line.
Married to somebody with a 14-year-old daughter.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well,
He is marrying
I'm not sure
someone
if it's
who
a
has
kid,
a
actually, but-
14-year-old daughter.
A
Okay.
14-year-old kid. I don't
Oh
know.
my God.
But,
Whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, so like he was saying, like, yeah, the kitten killing would probably be the thing that like soured the milk for them, because it'd be like, oh man, like this is like, it's just a bummer to see. Like we all talk about how like kicking the dog, all that stuff. Like people react more to pets getting hurt than anything else. And I felt that
and
way
it's a
little bit.
kitten. Yeah.
It's a kitten. It's a adorable fucking kitten. And but like having the deadite spit it up just added just a layer of just like, okay, so this is, you can't even begin to take that seriously. To me, it's just so fucking ridiculous.
It's great.
It was compared hilariously, in my opinion, to Jack Black in the movie Anchorman kicking the obviously fake dog off of a bridge. Like it's that level of like, okay, this is fucking stupid and funny.
That reminded me of another moment of really bad CGI though, when they are in the garage and the old lady like punches her fist through her mouth. Like that looks really bad.
But that, like, when it's in the mouth, I got so many flashes of Army of Darkness in that, Ash fighting the evil Ash miniatures or whatever. It's just so like silly and like the elongated mouth and all that stuff. I don't know. I like that part of it, but watching the fist go in, it's so ridiculous. I don't know. It doesn't. I feel like if they had just yes, it's very ridiculous to watch the fist go in. Of course.
Randy's into some fucked up shit. We're all just a little fucked up.
Sounds pretty normal to me.
God.
Oh, that is wicked.
Wide lanes.
Sounds like a Monday night. Still got the business socks on.
There's another sort of thing that was reused in this movie that I kind of liked. It was CG and maybe looked a little goofy, but the like haunted hanky that was just like
that flies around.
That looked worse than ever before to me.
That did look pretty bad.
Like I didn't remember that part in particular looking as bad as it does, but it looks pretty bad.
It does, yeah. And it's a silly concept. Very, very silly concept.
It's so funny to watch that and then think about Sam Raimi directing the new Doctor Strange with the fucking cape and all that shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's basically what cape is.
A haunted hanky.
It is a haunted hanky.
It started here. It all started here.
Oh boy.
Another side character that I think really carries some weight here is her coworker Stu. He's like such a sniveling little piece of shit. When she goes to get sandwiches for them, he's like, I said no mayonnaise. And he definitely didn't. And she's like, no, I didn't. He's like, well, it's okay. Just, remember for next time or what. He's like such a sniveling piece of shit.
They do it.
Yeah.
They do a great job making him like completely fucking insufferable. Yeah. And help me out because
would you
like
give him the button?
I absolutely would have, but like I got distracted during that scene where she
mayonnaise
where
boy.
he comes
where
he comes out like to the diner or whatever. What prompted him to come out? Did she threatened him somehow, but I didn't hear how. Yeah. I can't remember.
He stole the McPherson documents off her table and took them to another bank and like made the deal over there for some reason.
I knew he did that. That makes sense. I just didn't know how she knew that. I don't know.
I guess the documents were just gone. I don't know. Maybe she guessed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that dude's such a hateable piece of shit. He adds a lot of flavor to like the office situations. Her boss is a little dry, but like he adds some flair to that. The probably what would be the more boring like bank related sequences. I like that he's in there.
I like the boss though is
That's
David
the biggest
Cameron?
element, I think, like the office element. That really like makes me feel bad for this character, because even at the end, the triumph it's going to be, you're going to become assistant manager. It's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, and like,
depressing.
well, that's the whole thing. Is like this.
Sorry
the
to
whole
all the
movie
assistant bank managers that listen to our show. I know.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, the whole, like, you sold your soul for an assistant manager position is the, the idea. Like,
I mean, that's
even the best case situation is
the nature
not,
of finance, Justin. Okay,
I guess.
But like that is kind of ridiculous, and like it's so like it's kind of juvenile the way that all plays out. Honestly, like it's very, very broad. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just there's not a whole lot to that. The bank manager thing, it's just I don't know. It seems like it doesn't seem like a good motivator for the kind of audience this movie is seems to be angling for. But it adds like some pomp and circumstance to the movie that it can then like intentionally tarnish later, and I think that's probably the purpose of it. That's all the banking stuff is to give it that ground so that when it lifts you off the ground, you can tell the difference.
Yeah, and she's it seems like she's really trying to get away from her upbringing, her past, being on a farm. Like really wants to get some distance between her and that. And banking is about as different as you can get as farming. And also Justin Long's parents are just like really looking down on her current position and call her like a bank teller when she's a loan officer, and just kind of disregard her whole thing. So that's like added motivation for her there as well. But
there's so much motivating her. Like the entire world seems really poised for her to become like, you need to become a dirtbag banker. You have to do it. like she's got this piece of shit breathing down her neck. Even her like decent work, she can't do anything decent because her boss prioritizes people who watch the bottom line over people, and that she is such a sweet person in almost every other regard for the majority of this movie that like her making that turn and saying no to Mrs. Ganesh in order to make this thing, that is a decision she makes. And it's kind of like the Little Shop of Horrors Seymour thing, where it's like a good-hearted person that just wants really desperately wants one thing to like make all of her life complete, make her boyfriend and his parents proud of her and approve of her, give her the position that she deserves for her hard work instead of this dirtbag who's trying to scuttlebutt her the whole way through. Or scuttle her all the way through. Like, I don't know. Like the entire world seems to be angling to get her in this position, and she does relent. But like, for you to pay the price of getting dragged to fucking hell for saying no to one bank loan under extreme duress is like so over the top that it's like, I don't know. It loses its parableness to some degree. It's like, yeah, be a nice person, even if it's at cost to you. Like that works in a more subtle movie, but it's so, I don't know, kiddish. Like it doesn't, it's such a juvenile and sophomoric like depiction of that thought. I think
it is overall. I think they do the best they can with that sequence where Miss Ganesh says like, she got sick and that's why she fell behind on her payments. And she like gets down on her knees and like begs, and it's like really sad. It's a sad moment. And then when she falls over, the security just like drags her out. Yeah, it is a no-win situation. But like they really play that scene up, I think, to where it makes you, kind of think, why? I mean, yeah, just extend it. It's not your fucking money. The bank's not.
Well, it's also they do. That's the weird thing though, where he makes it disgusting and it kind of works against it, because at the same time you're like, oh, get this old lady away from me. She's disgusting.
She's oozing.
Well, the entire universe that she exists in wants her to reject this woman, even down to the woman herself, like her being kind of gross and like putting her in this situation, this big spectacle in front of her boss and all their colleagues or whatever. And then being like, you shamed me. And then like holding such a vindictive grudge that she wants to get her dragged to hell. And I'm like, I don't know. It also is weird because later on, the resolution to this movie is her giving the button back, or tries to give the button back to Mrs. Ganesh's corpse, which seems like the first thing that guy should have said to her that she could have done.
If it's an option, but, for sure.
What the fuck? But I don't know. Like it kind of runs contrary. It's like, you should have been nice to this woman. And instead, you got cursed by her, and now have to curse her back. Like, should we be nice to this woman at our own expense or not? What are you asking us to do? As far as
also the lesson is like, be vindictive.
Right, exactly.
Like,
It goes for up until that point, it's like
the
be
person
nice to
who's
people. You never know
vindictive,
what could happen to you if you're not nice to people. Being nice is the way to go. And then at the end of the movie, it's like, no, get your revenge. And then, like, yeah, all that other shit you did, you didn't really deserve that for denying a bank loan. So just go ahead and fuck this woman
She
for
does.
trying
I
to
mean,
fuck you up.
she tries to get her revenge, but maybe it's like a karmic situation that she grabbed the wrong envelope and ended up going to hell anyways. So like,
I'm just saying, even if it plays out, I'm saying even if you don't have that thing, the winner, well, I mean, not the winner, but like the person, the success is the vindictiveness of you wrong me. Well, then you go to hell. I mean, that's
I wronged you the first time, and that was a mistake.
Someone wrongs you, and you send them to hell.
Well, yeah, that's what I would do.
It kind of undercuts its own parable, but like I said earlier, it's such a childish parable that it kind of like it's got kind of just like maybe catharsis for us. They're like, yeah, fuck that woman. Like, who deserves it? I kind of thought that like every time I watch this, I think that Stu gets it for some reason. Like, I don't know why, but like, and then she doesn't give it to him. It's like, man, she's too nice to even give it to Stu. Like that would have been like a catharsis. There's a little bit of like an implanted desire for ill will towards that character. But she's like, who actually deserves this? And it's this woman that you originally wronged, and that's what got you here in the first place. So you're kind of fucking your own lesson here.
The little voicemail that the manager leaves on Allison's phone after she thinks that she's in the clear or whatever, like cracked me up because after she tries to blackmail that dude for being a piece of shit at work and stealing her files, he goes straight to the manager's house apparently and tries to say that she made the deal with the other bank, but like got the details mixed up and he knew he was lying about it. So like even after that, they apparently are good, but he still like tries to throw her ass under the bus.
Oh yeah, he's a real dirtbag. And like, but in fairness, I guess if you're saying like, okay, well, who actually tried to condemn somebody to an eternity of torture? It was Mrs. Ganesh. I guess you could make that argument. Being a dirtbag, let God sort him out. In that case, it seems reasonable. But it just weirdly scuttles their own position in terms of the story, but also to a catharsis for us as a viewer because it's like, yeah, fuck her, this disgusting woman that's just been haunting this sweet kid who made one self-serving decision and then a few others to try and correct the course of that.
The scene in the graveyard though, it's just like such a classic.
Me too. I like that scene a lot.
Moment.
Dude, the silliness of the corpse floating up and like kind of like sidling up against her or whatever. It's so fucking funny to me.
It's one of my favorite scenes. Yeah,
it's a great set piece.
Well, because a lot of that it sets mood, and a lot of it's just kind of like practical stuff. You're not getting the silly CGI. Your rain. You have these like big over the top props, like the cross falls down and like hits her on the head, and
it goes.
It's back to basics. Back to like Evil Dead basics, where even if you could see the strings, you know that it took someone time to make that shit with their hands, like the giant cardboard cross or foam cross. Like you can tell it's not. But like that kind of tactical stuff just makes a difference, and it adds a lot.
Yeah,
that's
it does.
Easily one of the best moments of the movie.
I agree.
That wasn't a real cross.
Sorry, Randy. Sorry to break it to you.
Man.
That was so she gets hit in the head with the cross, dips into the water, and then isn't it the very next scene? She goes to the. So is it like implying, because it's definitely got a sunny kind of disposition, this like dreamlike state around that whole scene where she's getting dressed and like the voicemail is left. Yeah.
I guess you could hypothesize that she got knocked out and didn't actually crawl out of the grave and died in there.
She died in the grave,
in her head or something. But yeah, I mean, we're left to believe that she did survive that, and then showers off the next morning, and then meets Justin Long, and then goes to hell. Either way, she's fucked. Yeah, I guess.
Either way, she's dead.
Yeah,
she's a very dead motherfucker. That's true. Okay. So I don't know.
Dead motherfucker. Are there any other major points you guys want to touch on before we rate this thing?
I think we covered it pretty good.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into it. Juice, why don't you kick us off? Out of 5, how do you feel about Drag Me to Hell?
All right, let me set the bar here. Yeah, I like this one. I kind of like you, Bob. This might have been my least favorite watch, but I think it's when you're thinking about something like I got to review this, you're definitely thinking about it more critically. But even I just think time has taken a little bit of the fun out of this, just a little bit, not completely. I still enjoyed myself. I still liked watching it, but there are some things that are a little more dated. I definitely was a little bit more bothered by the gypsy aspect of it. And just like how it's represented. I was a little bit more bothered by the grossness of it. Sometimes I was just like, even though it's effective, and most of the time it's very funny and fun, but this time, yeah, I think it affected me a little bit more on the negative side. But I still had a lot of fun with this movie. I did feel a little bit of the push and pull, like fatigue of some of the scenes felt a little repetitive. The handkerchief definitely looks a little rough. The practical stuff looks the best. But it's fun. I think it's a really solid PG-13 movie. We've talked about this several times, like with The Ring and some other movies about like having some good representation from PG-13 movies. And I think this is a really good one. I think it's a really fun representation of what Sam Raimi can do as a director. And yeah, I think I'm going to end it at a 3.5.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's solid. Bob, why don't you tell us how you feel about it next?
Yeah, pretty similarly. It's just so cool to see Sam Raimi finally kind of return to horror. And watching this makes me just like want him to return so bad again and just like crank something out.
Well, he just did Doctor Strange, Bob.
Oh, yeah. True horror, Doctor Strange. I like his vibes. Yeah, it does have like a zombie in it, but
I mean, and then look at this and like, I mean,
I'm obviously fucking with you.
Very lighthearted films.
Fucking with me?
Yes.
I would love to see him watch make another proper horror movie. His vibe, his sort of tone with the slapsticky over the top goop and gore, I just really dig, and I think he's got it dialed in pretty well. This movie doesn't totally hold up, but I think it mostly holds up. I think it is, like you mentioned, like a really fantastic PG-13 movie, something great to show a teenage kid if they're sort of interested in horror movies or, leaning towards the spookier things. I think this is something that would be a great like gateway Raimi movie. Watch this and then get him into the Evil Dead stuff. And it's got several good moments. The fight scene in the car, I think, is a great like tone setter for this movie. It's so over the top with like the drooly, gummy situation and the stapler in the face and the ruler in the mouth. It's that all that shit I dig. The haunted hanky doesn't look great, but I like the idea a lot for some reason. I think that's kind of cool. The set piece of the big seance room is like gorgeous. The graveyard scene at the end is really badass as well. Some of the tertiary characters are great. The medium we didn't really talk too much about. She's good, and also Ram also does a pretty good job. He just keeps telling her shit to do that doesn't work, but like I dig those characters pretty good. Stu is just a great piece of shit here. Justin Long is he really doesn't do much other than like eventually come in and throw some money around. I wish they would have used him a little more. And yeah, I think we kind of touched on everything else for the most part. Overall, it's a good watch. Definitely better with friends, I think, as like a midnight movie type situation. Goofy, silly cartoon. The more goop, the better. I'm here for it. That's my favorite shit about this movie is like the drool and the vomit and the bugs, the fly that goes into her mouth when she's sleeping is like fucking gross, man.
Another movie with the fly in the nose.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fly in orifice.
Well, and she coughs it up.
Yeah.
At dinner.
Yeah.
If I witnessed that, I would lose my fucking mind. I think that's just so bizarre.
That makes sense. But I'm going to come in with a 3.5 out of 5, same as you, Juice. Randeezy, how do you feel?
So yeah, like I said before, I kind of went through my valley of disappointment with this movie the last time I watched it. There's things about this movie that I just don't think work as well as they could. The CG is something that I wish it was all practical, even if it's bad looking practical. I think it's more charming that way, but we got what we got. I love that this movie leans into the silliness so much, but also grounds you so that you can feel the contrast between those things. I wish that Alison Lohman was a little bit more of a character, a little bit more charismatic. And, I understand narratively that they wanted to have her be a sweet farm girl or whatever as a starting point for why she has to be the meek that has done something wrong in order to be wronged in this way in return. And all that stuff. I get that, but I don't know. Give me a little smarm or something. I just miss the Bruce Campbell in this role, in this central role. But it's so she goes through the ringer. She does all the same kind of effects or whatever. There's all kinds of just ridiculous shit for her to get into. She fucking kills a ghost person with a fucking anvil that's inexplicably hanging on a rope above her in her garage. This is so fucking cartoonish. I can't see this as anything but Sam Raimi just being yep, I am going this is what people think of when they think of Sam Raimi. They think of over the top, campiness, scary, goopy, disgusting. Let's give him all the way to 10 on all of that. And then also, let's make it accessible to a younger audience, too, so that they, can rent this without raising eyebrows. I don't know. I really respect that if that is indeed part of the goal, as opposed to something that, was, forced upon him. But, the way it's shot, the writing, it's the most kinetic fucking camera in the world all the time because it's Sam Raimi. He's just all over the place. I really enjoy that stuff. Rom was a little bit I don't know, him and Justin Long having their back and forth or whatever, talking about fucking Jung and shit. That to me serves the same purpose as the banking stuff, where it's grounding it so hard for just a second so that you can touch ground and then just blast off into fucking anvil territory again. So I don't know. I think I really like this movie. I think that the thing about the Romani people and all that stuff, and whether it's a slur and the unsavoriness of that is a relatively new acquisition, I think, in American culture. And I'm still kind of grappling with what that means for my enjoyment of this. But I think my enjoyment is pretty much the same as it was the first time I watched it. It's just so fucking ridiculous. So much more comedic than I remember it being every time I watch it. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I just really like this. I think it's silly and stupid in all the best ways. And it's done by a really fucking a filmmaker with a lot of great camera work and who just mostly slips in CG. Yeah, CG is probably my biggest complaint. 4 out of 5.
Randy with a big old 4 out of 5. That's going to put our aggregate at a 3.7. Whew, boys. As is per usual, when you guys pick a movie for us to review on the show, we invite you to send over a voicemail or an email with your own thoughts and rating. And your boy, Dongster Sam, did send over an email. Juice, do you have that pulled up?
I got it ready. Here we go. Yo, it's a shiboy, Dongster Sam, coming to you from Dallas, Texas. I'm glad Drag Me to Hell is finally being covered. This movie is batshit bananas, BANANAS, and I'm surprised it's only rated PG-13. I feel like this movie would mess up a lot of 13-year-olds, but I'm sure most have seen worse. This movie has Sam Raimi written all over it, which of course makes it a great film, along with the inclusion of Justin Long. The effects are top-notch, and it's just fun as hell to watch all the bonkers things that are happening. The scene in the parking garage, what the fuck? That gumming action. Hashtag gumming for Randy.
Then grease me up, woman!
Hell yeah.
The ending is also iconic. I give this film a 4.25 out of 5. Apparently, Drag Me to Hell Deuce is in the works, which is exciting. I don't know. Anyways, thank y'all again for reviewing my You Pick. Keep chilling. Boys, how do y'all feel about a Drag Me to Hell Deuce?
You know, I saw something about that online, and I'm like, I don't need it. Just about every sequel, don't need it.
Yeah.
Nah. I don't know.
I would be surprised if Raimi was directing it. If he was, I would be more excited for it, but I wouldn't expect him to.
Nah.
If he was, I would be a little disappointed because, like, I would much rather.
Outside of Sam Raimi making this film, there's nothing about the lore or the setting or the characters that makes me want to revisit it in any ways. Yeah, it's
in every way except for its like devoted campiness and silliness.
Yeah, which is just all
the most rote story of all time.
Yeah.
If the sequel was all about, if they got Justin Long to come back and it was like all about him trying to figure out what happened, and he like deep dives into the paranormal and gets into like real fucked up shit, like maybe maybe
I don't
know. Okay,
I think that's like the obvious thing to do if you like, because he's got star power. He's more in the horror realm now. Yeah. I don't know, but I don't want to see that film really.
I'd much rather an original property. Yeah,
leave it alone.
But if you're gonna do it, give me some weird Justin Long action.
If you're gonna do it, make a good movie. I mean,
that's a good note. Juice.
You know, if you're gonna make a movie, why don't you go ahead and make a good movie?
Don't make the bad one. Make the good one.
Okay. Yeah.
Not even mediocre. Make it good. Okay. Make it one of the best films, the best sequels that's ever existed. Top Terminator 2 and Empire Strikes Back. Why don't you go ahead and do that?
Here. We got to talk to him. We got ideas.
When you're exporting this film, click the good tick on your Adobe Premiere.
AI, make this good.
I forgot to click good. Fuck.
Oh God!
The AI didn't fix it yet.
The thing is, like, if they retread, especially if they bring back Justin Long, they're gonna have to like deal with the Ramonic question and like how to handle that again. I don't think
we need it.
No, leave it in the past where it is still at least acceptable, and then make a different movie that's horrific and goofy and silly. I'm fine with that. Do that.
Yeah,
do that. All right, let's go ahead and jump over
to Why not?
Our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users have to say about Drag Me to Hell.
Certified.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment of the show, in which I'm going to have these two gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is for Drag Me to Hell in both the critics and user categories. Now, I think I'm going to start today with Juice, and we are going to start with our critics as we always do. 270 reviews here, Juice, to tally. Out of those 270, what percentage would you say are positive reviews?
I think people going into this film knowing that it's Sam Raimi is going to make it better than it would, or just like I think it's going to clearly set expectations for critics for this movie. And I think Sam Raimi is beloved for those elements, the slapsticky, ridiculous, gooby comedy. So I think this is definitely going to lean positive since it's horror and campy horror. I do think it'll be capped, but I mean, like, look at all the beloved, opinions and reviews for like Evil Dead do. So I still think it's going to be positive. I think I'm going to take The Boys 86. Ooh. They never let me down.
It's the necktie remedy you've been after this whole time. Bob, how about That's you? Dark. You got an 86.
I think positive but capped for sure. I think it's going to be a lower score. I'll take the under from Juice here, and I'm gonna gamble and just go basically with what we gave it, like a 75. I'll do that.
75. All right, 75% from Juice, 86 from Soju. Now, the correct answer.
Juice is
Nope.
playing against soju. Bob's not in
You
it
said
at all.
75% for juice, 86% juice.
Oh, did
That's
I?
why the AI thinks I'm two people.
Nah.
If you ask the AI about the Straight Chilling podcast, it thinks we have 4.
Oh, well, you know. Who says we don't? We always save one seat for Elijah.
I love it.
Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, 75 from Bob and 86 from Juice. So, the correct answer is 8 percentage points away from one of you. That correct number is 92%. That's a certified
Holy
fresh. and
Damn,
a
I
win
thought we
for
were going
soju.
low for sure. Whoa,
Damn.
92. Woo.
I would not have gone that high.
Yeah, after Bob said 75, I was like, maybe 86 is a little too high. 92 is kind of nuts.
That is.
It is kind of nuts, man. Like, people got what they wanted out of this movie mostly. It's kind of crazy considering how
Yeah.
fucking silly it is.
I wonder in like the pantheon of films from like Sam Raimi, I wonder which one he thinks is hell yeet.
Probably this one. Let's jump on over to the audience score before Bob has a fucking migraine he has to go tend to.
Who's
There are
Bob?
250.
There's no Bob here. There's only Juice and soju.
Sorry, I meant to say Bobo, of course.
Oh, okay.
So there are 250,000 plus ratings for the audience in this movie. Rob, we're going to start with you. Go in reverse order here. What do you think what do you think is the aggregate positive score for those 250K?
That's a shitload, man. People do love this movie. It's definitely going to be positive. 92. I don't think it can be higher than 92. That would be kind of nuts because this movie is gross. You know, like it's not going to be for everybody. It's super silly. So I think it's still going to be high, though. I'll take give an 88.
88.
Yeah.
All right. Juice, you going over? You going under? Where are you feeling?
I actually think this is going to be the lower one. As weird as it seems, I think critics going in knowing it's a Sam Raimi film, it would help it. But I think there's going to be too many people that people love Evil Dead, though. I think it's going to be lower. So I'm going to take the under this time. But I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to say 75.
75. All right. Well, the correct answer is 8. No, I'm sorry. That's not right. Is 23 percentage points away from soju. It's a 62%.
Whoa.
62%.
Oh, damn.
That's insane.
Yeah.
These
Isn't
are
it?
wild
30%
numbers.
gap.
Between and the
Almost, yeah.
critics are the
Between
ones
the-
that are on the
yeah.
high end. 92 is too high. What was it? 62?
Yeah.
60.
Wait
is
a minute.
too-
I did my math wrong. You were 13 points off.
Okay.
Not 23. Sorry.
Still though, yeah, 62 is too low. 92 is too high.
Yeah, I think that these. I would have absolutely bet money that these numbers were reversed if you had asked me.
You know
what
what's
I mean?
right in
Like,
between those two?
A hell eat sweet.
Fucking shit. No, damn it. No.
Idiot.
Our score, the 75%. We know what's up. God.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think your theory about why the critics might like this more than the users is pretty sound, honestly. Soju, like I think that maybe there was a lot of blind watches from people who came out
I
of this
definitely
thinking,
could
this
see
isn't
like
horror.
I
or
could
thinking
definitely
that this is
see
gonna be a
like
straight horror film.
Bob dragging along a friend and be like, you got to watch this movie. And then them not maybe being prepared for it and be like, and then like walking
Bob.
away with a negative. I think people not going in to see a Sam Raimi film would be more on the negative side of it, which could be where some of those reviews come from. That would be just my logic.
I think that makes
I
sense.
was the friend that was dragged. Well,
I'm just
not dragged.
I'm just saying, if like, I think there's going to be more people on the audience side that are not coming in specifically to see a Sam Raimi film that would drop the score.
I think this is the kind of movie that a lot of, like, especially like young, like teenagers that were our age or younger when this movie came out, want to go see at the theater, and they're not going to have the like catalog of fucking Raimi's films at their disposal or knowledge of who that is. They're going to think they're going in to see the next Conjuring movie or whatever, and it's way fucking cartoonier than that shit. So
they want to be hard. They want some. They don't want the cartoony horror.
Drag this ass to hell, Sam.
They want some fucking Human Centipede 2, and they get fucking Looney Tunes.
That real shit. Yeah,
dude, we have not been asked to cover that yet in 10 years of casting, boys. So let's count ourselves lucky.
Well, now we've just invoked the name. If this is the third time we've said the term Human Centipede, we're fucked. All right, let's read some negative reviews because, as we do, sometimes they are funny. Let's see. I really can't recommend it. Despite the fact that I support the idea of comedy horror, I do generally ask that it contain at the very least either comedy or horror.
Sick burn, bro.
There's no horror in this
What's funny about an anvil hitting a woman on the head and popping her eyeball into your mouth? What could be funny about that?
There's a full seance in this. Like, that's classic horror.
There's demons that follow this woman around.
And a talking goat. Like, it's got it all. It's got it all.
Everything you could ever want is in this movie.
Anything.
My God.
Except Yabos.
Let's read one more here.
We want Yabos, but I'm just saying.
There's something fundamentally disappointing about watching Raimi use his considerable resources to just make more wonderful scat.
This scat is wonderful, and I hate it.
Disappointing is not the word I would use. Fucking
that is not the word
exciting.
I would use.
Yeah,
not in this context.
It is wonderful scat. I could give it that title and be very happy with it.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. Yeah, but you know,
it's like. It's camp, man. Yeah. Like what? Like how dare he be a filmmaker that likes to make silly things every so often?
Is this guy? This guy just really wanted him to sell out and like be like, okay, well I'm gonna go make like black and white dramas now because I've
it's like
like
this guy sits down at the theater. The movie starts like, wait a minute, this isn't Eraserhead. What the fuck?
Fuck this guy.
Where's the guard? Where's the Avant? I got none of this. So yeah, that's our Rotten Tomatoes segment. Bob, how's that trivia looking on your end?
Yeah, we got some trivia. Let's get into it.
It's totally time for trivia.
All right, Dad boys. Yeah, there's a little bit here, a little bit to get into. So I'm sure you guys did recognize Sylvia Ganesh's character was driving the Delta, which is in, I think, every Sam Raimi movie that he's ever made. So kept that consistent. What else we got here? This script was apparently written back in '92, right after Sam Raimi completed Army of Darkness. But then I guess he went on Army of Darkness. Went on to make other projects for some reason. Maybe you just couldn't get this one made. I don't know, because I don't think Army of Darkness did super well.
No, I don't think so.
Memory serves.
No, what did he do right after that? No, it was before he got into. Oh, he got pulled into Hudsucker Proxy right after that, which is fucking great, by the way. He was a screenwriter for that and directed one scene, one montage in there.
Nice.
It's good. It's a Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah,
they work together on it.
I've been meaning to watch that for like years, just never have. So a Lamia is actually a boogie woman from Greek mythology who stalks the countryside looking for children to devour. It's a story used to get young children into their beds. The Lamia's coming for you. She'll gum you down if you're not in your bed.
Don't gum me down.
Use that on your kids. The license plate of the Delta is 99951, but when you turn it upside down, it looks like it reads is 666. That's devil shit.
That seems like maybe nothing, actually.
Man, that's deep.
Whoa, dog.
If that's intentional, that is really there for the fucking for the Easter egg hunters.
Before deciding to direct this movie himself, Sam Raimi asked Edgar Wright to direct it. However, Wright was busy on production with Hot Buzz, and he also apparently felt like he wasn't really the right dude for the movie. I think he would have knocked this one out of the park, though. It wouldn't have been so goopy.
Yeah.
I want them to work together so bad.
That would be cool.
My God, that would be cool.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
I got to get these boys together.
Oh, my
the
God.
Raimi Wright love child.
The beautiful babies they would make. Oh, my God.
I'd gum them down if they weren't in their beds. So,
what is happening?
I don't know.
We all need a nap.
Alice, that is fucking true, man. Alison Lohman stated to the Daily Record that shooting the film was such hard work, she had to drink shots of tequila every night just to get some sleep. God damn.
Oh,
God damn.
no.
That's tough.
That's how I feel about this podcast.
Just to get some
one shot. Just one, huh?
Sleep.
It's 9 a.m. I need a couple shots of tequila.
Making this podcast is just so hard. I got to drink
Such a burden for me.
Such a burden,
Can't even sleep at night. God.
Heavy lies the crown, boys.
Elliot Page was originally cast as Christine, but dropped out because she was, I guess, conflicting schedules with Whip It, the movie Whip It. She did.
I
don't remember that.
That's the roller derby.
Roller derby. I watched that recently, and that movie kind of fucking rules. Actually, it's a good time.
I've heard that about it. I mean, I was always interested because I feel like that's a world that is like really due for some exploration.
Yeah.
It's like a light comedy. It's like a comedy drama, I guess, but I really dig it. I was surprised at how much I liked it.
I'm surprised to hear it was light. I felt like it might have like a real dark edge to it.
It does kind of have some heavy stuff going on, but it's got plenty of jokes too. So it's not a straight drama,
Yeah.
Well, I like Elliot Page a lot, but I'm not. I feel like the sweetness that Alison Lohman brings to it is a benefit.
Yeah.
Elliot Page definitely has more of an edge, sass,
like a
kind of
sharper tongue, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe it's because. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like the sweet character is like, if you weren't going with like such a sweet character, I would love to see Elliot Page go full Bruce Campbell. That's what I want.
The character. That's
what I really want is for somebody to just ham that shit up, chew the scenery off the walls, motherfucker. Yeah. That's what I want.
I got a few more quick ones here. While filming the cemetery scene at the end, Alison Lohman was getting fake mud, which was made out of methyl cellulose and Oreo cookie dye, thrown at her. She stated, quote, "It got pretty cold."
Cold?
Yeah.
Cold. Wow, that's
cold. Yeah.
Really a lot of... You put a lot of weight behind that quote.
Yeah, I know.
It's important. You need to know it got pretty cold, okay?
It got pretty cold.
I do love that scene, though. I'm sure that was a motherfucker to shoot and was like awful.
Yeah,
so much.
It's. I think it was worth it. I didn't have to do shit, so yeah, it was worth it.
You know something we didn't like. I didn't really cover. I don't feel like I covered in my review. It was just like how fucking great it is that she actually gets hauled up into hell in the end. I always loved that about this movie. And
you like that she get pulled off to hell?
Yeah, I mean, like just like it
always kind of bothered me.
It's a bummer.
I don't know. Like it is a bummer, but it's kind of like I don't know. This movie's so fucking ridiculous. It had to do one more rug pull. It pulls out every stop, regardless of how ill-fated that is or how much of an bad decision that could be. It's just like, fuck it. You know what? She's going to hell. We see her cold to hell. I didn't like the CG of her face though when she's going in. Like I used to, but it's like it looks worse now that I see
that's
it again.
the skull or whatever.
Yeah.
Those soulless loan officers. We could use one less.
God damn, Bob.
That'll teach you to deny an old woman who's had multiple extensions.
Taking on the financial district over here.
Occupy Mrs. Ganish
district.
Bob's the one that burned down that Copenhagen whatever stock market. Did y'all see that shit?
No.
It was like the oldest stock market building in the world or something. It's in I think it was in Copenhagen or something, but it caught on fire. All the people, though, good on them. They saved like 99% of the old historic art. People are like running in to save the art. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad they did that, and not their bank records. Oh my God!
Yeah.
How are we going to be able to tell who's got debt?
All right, I'm almost done here. So this film's plot borrows heavily from Jacques Tournier's film Curse of the Demon from 1957. It was based on the story Casting the Runes by M.R. James. So in that movie, there's a man that's cursed by being given a piece of parchment inscribed with cursed runic symbols. The person given the parchment is then pursued by a demon for a set number of days. Before the demon kills them at an appointed time, this film ends up in virtually the same type of location with the same style of demise. So, a lot of similar DNA there.
I didn't know that. I've never heard of that one.
Me either. Have not seen it.
Yeah, me neither.
Last bit of trivia I have here. The budget of this movie was about $30 million, and worldwide it earned about $90 million. So, made some change.
Nice.
Not bad.
Cool.
And that's all the trivia I got. Juice, let's talk Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
Juice, what is a Cooter and why do we hunt them?
So, Cooter's character type on a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, I think we got a couple Cooters this week. I would like to start with Stu.
Yeah, let's start there.
Overall patheticness, yes,
pretty high. He does
breaks down crying,
and a breakdown, and still tries to fuck her over one more time.
Liar, backstabber, thief, no
manipulation,
yes, through the roof. Yeah,
I would not give him that if he didn't do that sniveling scene though, because it's such an exposition or an expose of him.
Yeah.
Before that, he's just like, Wolf of Wall Street bullshit. Like, and they instead were like, no, he's a sniveling little coward bastard, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So manipulation and patheticness. So we have smug arrogance.
Yes.
I think so. I think we can hit him with smug arrogance, which gets him a Cooter count. So check. So he's got 3, but no sexual deviance.
No.
And looking attire. He's just
normal. Yeah.
He's banker shit.
Yeah. He's just a banker.
3 out of 5.
So 3 out of 5. 8 hits it.
Ain't bad.
Yep. And how about Mrs. Kanush or whatever?
Oh man, that's a tough one. She's very vengeful or whatever. I don't know. Like
she admits like I'm a proud woman. So do we want to give smug arrogance?
She also prostrates herself.
Yeah.
Like kind of manipulatively though. I might give her manipulation for that. Because she's saying like getting down on her knees and making a big scene in a bank in front of this woman's bosses and everything. It's like it's pretty clear that that's good for her case, or it should be.
And also, I don't know. I would say smug arrogance out of the idea like you shamed me. It's like not really. It's like you put yourself in that position. Like you.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to live my life here.
I'm just trying to live my God.
Just trying to be a banker. I'm just trying to live my dreams.
That's all.
I'm just trying to be a assistant manager.
The dream. Banking.
Trying to live the life.
Loan denied.
So I would say smug arrogance.
Yeah.
She's too vengeful.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like there's like, that's a high level of vengeance for this one person who is clearly
the punishment
not
does
the
not
source
fit
of the issue. Right.
Yeah, it doesn't
fit
at all. So it's smug arrogance, manipulation.
She's
Looking
a sexual
tired?
deviant. She keeps sucking on chins,
Whoa. With their gums.
gumming on them.
Let me take out my
chins.
teeth. Gum you.
I'm gumming for you.
Gumming for Randy. Hashtag. Yeah, I don't know. I think she's Cooter light, maybe. At least.
It's pretty light. I don't
overall
know.
patheticness, she dies. Her corpse
Yeah,
gets desecrated.
What a loser.
Her corpse
I'm never gonna die
gets
because I'm cool.
and that's
What a
pathetic.
fucking loser. You pathetic loser.
Damn.
Oh, boys, it's early.
Yeah, I don't know. It's late.
Yeah,
Also,
Yeah.
I don't really feel it for Miss Ganesh.
No.
Maybe light,
I don't
maybe
know if I
light.
feel it either.
All right.
I feel
Well,
like
we got
boyfriend
Yeah.
could have gone that way if he didn't like come around
through.
and
Yeah.
Justin Long. If he had been like 2024 Justin Long, he would have
Wow.
been an absolute cooter, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's not presented this way here, and I think that's nice to see him do something a little different. Honestly,
Stu's
Yeah.
fucking mayonnaise moment just like really seals the deal for me. That
Stew.
the mayonnaise. Yeah, he's made to be
His
hated, and
manipulation
that,
is,
there's nothing more indicative of a cooter than like being
And that-
clearly created for us to hate them.
And
Yeah.
also, too, that's the one that you would be okay, like when she's considering giving the button away. We're all like, yeah, give it
Right.
a stew. So that's the one you want him to die. You want him,
Right.
even as low as his crimes are, but like you want him to. But in comparison, that's the thing is. Compared to her, you're like, oh, I mean, she's just kind of doing her job. Yeah, she's a little cruel or like maybe a little bit harsh, but Stu is actually going out of his way to be a huge piece of shit. And you're like, yeah, that's the guy who deserves it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this guy, he has no scruples, and like,
Yeah.
if the moral of this story is don't be a dirtbag because you never know what could happen, karma or
Yeah.
some shit, then he deserves it. Like, if this
Yeah,
whole thing is karma
exactly.
for being a dirtbag, that's the dirtbag.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
I
satisfied
don't
with that. Stu being the
All right,
cooter of the week.
Stu, take
I
him
am
away,
too.
boys.
I have to do a
Stu.
quick correction. I need a nap bad. I don't know what I'm thinking, but Hudson
nap.
Proxy was not immediately following this movie. That came out in fucking early 90s. I don't know what I was thinking. So I just wanted to correct that because
You're
it sounds...
I know you were talking. You didn't say follow this. You said followed Army of Darkness.
Yeah, you did.
Was it Army of Darkness?
Yeah.
I'm too fucking tired for this.
Just shut up,
Hey, Jesus Christ.
and you'll be correct.
Let's see if that's true now.
Oh
Oh,
God.
boy.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
we got our
Randy.
cooter. We got Stu.
We got him.
We got him.
We got him.
Mayonnaise
We got
man.
him.
Fuck that dude. All right, let's go ahead and talk about what we've been watching this week, boys.
Oof.
All right, let's do it.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Randy, what you been watching?
It was The Quick and the Dead was the movie that followed Army of Darkness. Anyway, so
Dude,
yeah,
that
I
movie
watched
slaps.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, so I've watched quite a few things this week, actually, over the last couple of weeks. Surprisingly, I found some time for some shit. First and foremost, I want to mention something I've mentioned on the Slack a couple times, which is this show Ridley on Netflix, which is an adaptation of a novel, and it's a limited series of, I think, 8 episodes. I've got a couple more to go, but this is a fucking stunningly gorgeous looking show. And the premise, for those who don't know, is about this man who's basically a con man doing his thing. And so there's a little bit of like just that competency porn where it's like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing, and you're trying to figure out what his thing is, like how, like why he's doing certain things that he's doing. But it's also a little bit looser than that. He's just kind of flying by the seat of his pants a little bit. I don't know. I really like this fucking movie, and it makes me want to go to Italy so damn bad. So yeah, I really recommend that one. Very, very good, pulpy, noirish. It's all black and white, by the way, and like the film looks great. It looks great. I finally saw Joker, and I'm kind of mid on Joker. I liked a lot of it. I think I liked it more than I disliked it, but it's got a fucking weird ass worldview, man. I don't know. It feels like it's got the same problem as like Falling Down, where it's like white man's burden. Oh God, I can't believe that society is so cruel to me that I have to kill everyone. I have to be a major creep all the time because of society. Oh, like I know that it doesn't quite do it that rote, but I don't know. It has that tinge to it, and it kind of soured the milk for me just a little bit. But I did love the performance, man. Joaquin Phoenix can fucking act, even as weird as he is personally as well. I watched Monkey Man, the Dev Patel movie, and that was a really fucking great action movie. I really, really liked that it was honestly like a really good action movie with really awesome kinetic camera work and also like a pretty straightforward plot, but the setting and the narrative being wrapped around these cultural signifiers that I'm just not as familiar with as like, you know, dirty cop, good cop, all the stuff that you would normally see in an action movie like this, or like underground anti-hero shit. Like it's just putting it in a new setting makes it feel so much fresher, and it looks great, and it's just really fucking good. It's a good action movie. And I'm not the world's biggest action.
You're not an action guy, yeah.
Not usually.
Never even seen John Wick, I heard.
That's true. And I
Jesus.
Yeah. I need to finally watch it probably. I like Keanu. I just never I'm just not drawn to that shit. I got that confused with Jack Reacher so many fucking times in my life. Anyway, they also watched a documentary called The Greatest Night in Pop, which is a documentary detailing it with a lot of footage like of the event of the recording of We Are the World, that big Ethiopian fundraiser event to try and help Ethiopian hunger,
in like the late 80s or something, right? Or early
in the
90s.
late 80s. And like seriously, like I don't think like if you sit down and think about it, it's kind of fucking hard to believe that many people of that caliber were in the same fucking room for even the one night. But it's pretty crazy. It's a fucking Ray Charles, fucking Stevie Wonder, holy shit, I'm blank. Not Tina Turner. What's her fucking name? There's a fucking like Prince. Michael Jackson was there. Like all these fucking people that are like behemoth motherfuckers. Kenny Loggins and Kenny Rogers and Bob Dylan. Like this is a fucking stacked cast, man. And it's really interesting because they have actual footage of the night and of things happening. And all they mostly do is kind of detail what this like the beat for beat what happens. And, you know, it gave me more of an appreciation for that song and what they were trying to do and all this stuff. Lionel Richie was kind of like helming it in many ways. And so he was a big part of like telling the story in the documentary. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I thought that it gave me an appreciation for a song that I kind of see as schmaltzy and silly, kind of just on the sheer logistical achievement level.
Those big personalities in one room.
Isn't it? And of course, and they're all recorded at the same time around and the video is being recorded at the same time. And like fucking Bruce Springsteen and Bob Dylan are like doing solos like right after each. It's crazy that this happened, honestly. But you know, Quincy Jones gets what he wants. Watched a couple episodes of Conan O'Brien Must Go. Is this on your list too, Bob?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and I like you seemed a little bit sour on it, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, kind of, a little bit. Like Conan O'Brien's funny. I like Conan O'Brien, but this is like a travel show he did for HBO. If you're unaware, there's like 4 episodes total, so it's not real long. And he goes to a different place each time, and he really leans into the buffoonery of it, and it is oftentimes pretty funny. But it seems like some of the people around him might not totally enjoy his sense of humor or what he's doing. And it just feels like sometimes kind of fucking disrespectful to me.
See, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like to me, I really enjoyed what I've seen so far. It's so silly. It kept me like laughing out loud quite a bit. And honestly, if you watch Conan's like Man on the Street shit or any of his travel segments from all the way back into the 90s and shit, he's doing the same thing where it's like he goes out and he does like the silliest shit in the world and people often just don't know how to react to it, and that's part of what's funny about it. I don't know, I guess I didn't see much in terms of disrespect because he is mostly making a fool of himself, so I don't know.
Yeah, he is largely making a fool of himself. You can tell some people don't like it. And it's just
and
weird.
I think that's what's like one of the things that's funny about it is watching somebody be like, okay, whatever the fuck that guy just said. Like,
yes, I mean, some people know who he is, but a lot of people have no idea. They just know he's some loud, goofy American, and they're just like, what the fuck is this? And it just kind of pulls some of the comedy out for me. There is one.
See, to me, that's like cringe comedy in a fun way.
It's really cringe, but I don't really like it. There's one moment when he goes to Norway and he's on a boat with these two fishermen that had me rolling. It's like so clear that these two fishermen fucking hate each other, and he just like keeps asking them questions about it. It is hilarious. That shit was really great. But overall,
I forget what he said. But he's like, "Oh, so you would like save him if he was drowning?" And the guy's like,
"There's like these dudes
maybe
hate each other. It's crazy.
They spend all like hours and hours and days and weeks together on this little boat, and they're the only people they see. So yeah,
damn.
It's like, oh, does he annoy you at all? He's like, yeah, that sort of shit. It's very funny. Anyway, that's most of the only other thing I'll mention is the Monster Shock Theater with Martin Monster, which is a tie-in promo for Late Night with the Devil that came on YouTube to promote the Shudder drop. So that was fun. Not much to it, but very fun.
Cool. Juice, what you been watching?
Not too much, but getting back into my little bit more regular routine of watched a couple more things this week than the past couple. I watched Suzume, which is, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not, honestly, but it's a Japanese animation that came out in like 2022. I think it was like the biggest movie to come out in Japan that year, something like that. It's an animated film. It's good. It was good. Dramatic as Japanese animation tends to be, but I liked it. It was good. So I think last year I mentioned I had revisited Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and the first time in a long time. So I also just watched Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, which is the sequel where they make a toddler giant. Oh man, that one is not so good. And the effects, the way that they have to shoot it to make the toddler look big, it just doesn't hold up well at all. But as a premise of like, we got to make something big, you can't control a toddler, it's a decent premise. And it's kind of funny because it takes a lot of beats from like Godzilla movies, and stuff like that. So they even make a Godzilla reference. So it was interesting just from that standpoint. But I mean, it just doesn't hold up that well. But all like the original cast comes back. So that's kind of cool. Most of the original cast.
That's the one movie in that franchise I saw as a kid until like maybe I was 13 years old.
I saw as a kid.
I really loved it. I remember loving it.
Me too. Well, actually, I watched. So there's another one too. That's Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. I used to watch all those movies as a kid. Yeah. So I used to like them a lot as a kid. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
They're all on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay. So you saw it recently. Because, I mean, we all know you were a child up until like 2 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, they're all on Disney Plus. So, I mean, I'm streaming them. So, as a child.
Streaming them. So you didn't have the VHS.
Well, I also, the only other thing I watched was I rewatched Past Lives, which is something I had watched last year on the plane ride, I think, back to the States or something. So it hasn't been that long since I watched it, but I revisited it. It was nominated for the Academy Award. It didn't win, but it's a good movie. And it's one I would recommend people check out. Kind of a bummer, but not fully a bummer. Just an emotional kind of movie, but it's good. So that's what I've been watching. Bob, what you been watching?
Oh, hey, some more Marvel movies. We watched.
Whoa, Bob.
I know. What am I doing?
Big Marvel head over there.
Who am I?
People say that about Bob all the time. Big Marvel head.
They know it.
Big marble head.
They know it's true. We watched
the head of a marble.
Captain America: Civil War, which is solid. It's a solid Marvel movie for sure. Introduced some new characters. It actually like moves the overall plot forward and things matter. There's like stakes at hand. Really good action too. Captain America's like arc overall, as far as his like 3 or 4 movies or whatever, are pretty solid so far.
They're mostly just Avengers movies, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, after Civil War, they kind of become that. I mean, Winter Soldier.
I mean, Civil War is
Soldier's
essentially a Marvel movie.
That's yeah.
I mean,
but it is also I don't know,
Avengers. Yeah,
Avengers.
That's almost as much of an Iron Man movie as it is a Captain America movie, and it's
fair. Yeah.
Definitely got some heavily Avengers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But like Winter Soldier is
Winter Soldier. Yeah,
Cap.
Yeah,
good
that's
shit.
True.
Really good shit. Also revisited Ant-Man, and that is okay.
Me and you, Bob, we're on that same line.
It's fine.
Dude, I was pretty disappointed in that one.
Yeah, I totally forgot Das Malchian was in it. That was kind of cool seeing him in there for like 5 minutes, man. He's barely in it.
Yeah.
I saw that Greg Turkington cameo recently, like for the first time in a while, and
oh yeah,
that shit makes me laugh so hard. He is so funny.
Yeah. Also watched Black Widow, and that one's pretty good. I
haven't revisited that one yet, so okay.
I don't agree.
Oh, really? Okay. Better than a lot. I like the
Bob is a big sucker for what's his name from Stranger Things. You love that guy.
Oh yeah, I do.
You love that
David
guy.
Harbour. David Harbour.
Harbour. Yeah.
Yes.
I like that dude. Yeah, he's a nice addition.
I like him too, but still.
Yeah, I mean all the
I like Florence Pugh as well.
Yeah, Florence.
All the actors in that, I actually like all of them now that I think of it.
Yeah.
But, oh well.
Good action, and again feels like it has some stakes and matters, whereas like a lot of these movies kind of don't. Pretty good, not one of my favorites, but better. I would say better than average Marvel movie.
Yeah. All right.
Finished watching the Mr. and Miss Smith show on Amazon. There's like 7 or 8 episodes, I think, and it ends in a really smart way where like if they didn't make any more, it'd be very satisfying, but you could also make more if you wanted to, and it wouldn't feel like cheap or like retconned or anything. That's a good show. I recommend watching it. All the episodes are solid.
I would like to.
But I think Gambino, either he did or he is going to re-release his last album, which he said was like unfinished, but he released it due to COVID. He didn't know if we were all going to die. And so... I don't know if you
I know
knew
he's
that.
going on tour.
Yeah.
I saw some articles saying he announced his final 2 records or something like that, but I didn't click on it and like read any further.
Well, I gotta check and see if he actually released it, but yeah, he like tweaked some things and like added a couple songs and like said he ultimately finished the record. So
cool,
interesting. It's the last one that like none of the song titles had names; they were all numbers, but he actually gave them like song titles and arranged it and stuff.
That really bothered me because you can't be. My favorite song is like 00912468.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, it wasn't. Oh, I thought it was.
It was all just a bunch of numbers. No, it was like random numbers. So I don't know if it's out yet or not. I have to check that out. Let me check.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he added the most important thing.
Keeping the beat. Keeping the beat. Yes, it's true. I'm keeping the beat.
You got to keep that beat. Last thing I'll mention is the Jinx Part 2. Episode 1 just aired on HBO last night, and I watched that this morning.
Oh, yeah. How is it?
So far, good. I mean, it doesn't really... It sort of picks up immediately where season 1 leaves off, and it doesn't go too far into the story. It's just sort of like getting things in place. But I saw some review recently that said it was like it gets really meta somehow in this season. I don't know how, but the first episode's solid. I look forward to seeing the rest. The first season of the Jinx, if you haven't watched it and you're into true crime even remotely, definitely check it out. I want to say it was like a 6-episode docu-series. It was actually produced by Blumhouse, and it's, I
think that was
good.
Sorry.
It's really
one of
really
the
good.
big... It's one of the first big-name limited series true crimes that sort of kicked off this big wave that we're in now, I think.
It's...
Or that we're
definitely don't do any research. Just if you haven't seen the first season, put it on, watch it, go in knowing nothing. It's about this rich dude that allegedly may have killed some folks. That's all you need to know. Just put it on.
He killed some folks.
Good shit. Yeah, but that's pretty much all I've been watching this week. We do have one voicemail.
That Childish Gambino album has not been re-released yet. It's pending. It will be.
Cool. I will listen to the finished product. Yeah, we do have one voicemail this week. Let's go ahead and get into our Hotline Screams.
Hotline Scream.
If you are listening and would like to call and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got one voicemail from Chris. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey, Straight Trolling Crew, this is Chris in Louisiana. So I'm listening to the Civil War episode, and I wanted to propose an idea, something that I haven't heard anybody talk about yet. So, and hopefully you guys aren't Civil War'd out, talking about it. And I haven't finished the episode, so, disregard if this comes up later in the episode. But so everything I've heard about, when people talk about the movie was that it was a warning, and it was a pretty, wasn't a so subtle warning, of what could come and how it would look like. But one thing that I don't hear people talk about is that, or propose, is what the justification, of the war. Like, it was like in the beginning of the movie, one of the things that confused me was that they were talking about, the main secession forces were California and Texas. And me and my girlfriend looked at each other when we were watching it, and it was like, what? Like, so they're seceding, but they're opposing? And they never really explained it, but in the movie, or maybe they did and I missed it, but what I got from it was that the president was so tyrannical, that the little bit of info tidbits that they did give us was that, he was authorized, attacks on civilians. So then that was one, and then it was like the disbanding of the FBI, and I'm not sure what that would lead to, but you have a president that's so tyrannical that Texas and California collectively, set aside their political differences and agree to secede from the Union, to take the president out. So it makes me think when I hear about, how Civil War was a warning movie, and it was like, I get it, but if the president in this hypothetical story, if they were doing things, that were so horrific that this is the eventual outcome, then it's like, what really is the warning? So, and again, I don't know if you guys end up, talking about this specific point of view, but it's just one thing I haven't heard anybody talk about, when they talk about the discussions I've heard of Civil War. So I want to know your guys' thoughts about that in that kind of perspective. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for the show. Great job. Talk to you later. Bye.
I'm Civil War'd out. No, I'm just kidding.
There's always room for Civil War.
Well, Spider-Man really should have, risen up the ranks and not just. No, I think we touched on. I had mentioned that it felt calculated to me to make California and Texas like the seceding parts, but. I think maybe we touched on the fact that maybe Ron Swanson was a little underutilized as the president, that we could have had a little bit more of that. So I think that kind of touches on that a little bit. Yeah.
And I know I definitely floated the idea like, okay, I think there's things that California and Texas would see eye to eye on as being federal, consolidation of federal power is often seen as a negative to right-leaning conservative folks, and human rights abuses are seen as so negative in left-leaning folks.
Yeah,
so
you made a good point that if Texas had seceded first and the president attacked them and they were civilians, then California could easily be seen as like pairing up with them.
Well, and they also talk about how Lee's first big break was shooting the Antifa massacre, they call it. So they're massacring citizens. They're using so to the question of what's the warning, I think it's just a warning against despots trying to usurp all of the power in the country.
Yeah.
And it may have in this particular movie, for one reason or another, narrative or convenience, whatever, been these two seemingly opposing estates that like run the show against that president. But it could be any formation, really. It's just a matter of whose interests are being served and whose interests are being quashed. And, there's enough people in this country that I think value a lot of what it has to offer in terms of freedom and voting and all of those things that are cornerstones and all that shit, who would take issue with it, like somebody coming through and being anti-democratic. Maybe that's not bearing out in real life as much as I would like, but I think that there's a lot of interest in maintaining democracy in America.
I'm interested in that, Randy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I also think like the differences between California and Texas they have a lot in common in general. Like they're both like financial powerhouses, economical powerhouses that, California, I think, subsidizes like 2/3 of the country that are not meeting. I don't know. I can't remember the specifics.
Mississippi, looking at you.
Well, all of the
Everybody
lower
shits on
income,
Mississippi for everything.
lower,
Dude, Mississippi fucking sucks.
I have spent
the lower
time
tier
there.
economic states are subsidized by California and also Texas. Like they're economical powerhouses with people that love to be themselves and love freedom. Like the concept of being free to do what you like.
But the amount of water space that Mississippi has, ports and like everything, they should not be as shitty as they are.
Yeah.
I mean, you control the port of the Mississippi River. Like, why are you so poor?
Call in with your Mississippi hot takes on the next episode.
Shout out to all of our Mississippi fans. I know there's probably a few.
I am not prepared to talk about the microeconomics of states I'm not familiar with.
Birthplace of the blues, at least, I guess. There's
birthplace of the blues?
Yeah.
Like
what? Is that? Oh, I don't know.
I thought, oh my God, you said the blues, and I immediately thought you were talking about fucking Blu-rays. Jesus Christ. Holy shit.
Where did Bob go wrong?
That's too good, You've been brainwashed, Randy.
The goddamn blues.
Blues on the brain, Randy. Blues
the Blu-ray was famously invented by Mississippian
Robert Johnson.
Robert Bluesman.
Robert Johnson sold his soul at the crossroads for a Blu-ray
real deal
of Big Mama's house.
I'll do anything for them sweet blues, devil. I'll even give you my soul.
Rob, you've been seen at a crossroad before. I don't know.
You've been to Mississippi before, haven't you, Bob?
A lot. Yes, I have.
Anyways, sorry for all the people who live in Mississippi. That's not directed at you.
thanks for calling in, Chris. Chris from Louisiana. That's fair. We didn't get too deep into the reasoning as to why the Civil War started, but the movie didn't really either. It seems like that's a lot of background noise. Solid point to bring up.
That was one of our crux issues, was whether or not it was even warranted to do that. So
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it can go back and forth, I think.
Yeah. I'd be interested to spitball them. It's a fun conversation. So
yeah.
Just real fun. Just a fun
I'm having fun. I'm not Civil War'd out. Give me more Civil War.
Again, if you guys are listening and want to call and leave a voicemail for next week, hit us up at 904-638-3231. You guys have any prompts you want to throw out for next week?
That's a great question.
We're getting halfway to Halloween.
That's true. Walpurgis Nacht is upon us.
Mark is coming.
Yes.
Oh my God, the Green Man.
You doing anything
the May
special?
Queen.
What are you doing?
Yes. Are you building a
this-
bonfire?
I think I might burn something wicker. I'm feeling
like a
feels
mang?
right. Maybe a mang. I don't know. Maybe a basket. You can't pin me down.
All right. Maybe a wicker chair.
I'm going to pop
Wicker chair,
over to
who
Michael's and buy a 40-foot wicker mang for my bonfire.
What's the largest wicker man you have available?
You have a 10-foot wicker man at They have a 10-foot wicker man over at the Sticks and Stuff you can get for a real princely sum.
I'm trying to celebrate some pagan worship here. Well, I need the biggest wicker man.
Where's your wicker man section? I don't see it. Where's it at?
Oh, it's down there by the crosses.
Where's your Celtic section? I need a wicker man.
Ancient Celtic section? I know you have one, Michaels.
Ancient Celtic sections, huh?
So yeah, call in
Anyway.
and fucking say whatever you want, I guess.
Yeah, we don't have any problems.
Tell us off about living in Mississippi and how it's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got good food. I will say that.
Just
call in
and tell us why your state would succeed in succession.
I just want the tourism board of Mississippi to call in and give us our assholes on a platter.
Give
that would be
me
We're
my
great.
asshole.
We only take a few billion from California, okay?
A few billion right off the top. Yeah, call in, say hey, just say what's up, say whatever. 904-638-3231. We'll be back next week. I don't know what we're talking about. Maybe Abigail, if that ends up working out for us this week, if you can see it, Juice.
Oh, yeah.
If not, probably another Patreon pick. So, yeah, keep your eyes peeled. I'll try and post on like Instagram or whatever if we figure it out midweek or so, and give you all
so you can watch
a heads
along.
up. Yeah, but we'll be doing something next week. That I guarantee.
Call in with your favorite Raimi story. Go.
Yeah, sure. Until next week, you can find us on all the socials everywhere. Straight Chilling Podcast. Just look us up. If you want to join in on the daily Slack channel conversations, let us know on one of our social media outlets, and I'll send you a link so you can do so. Hang out with us for the Joe Bob Walpurgisnacht watch party this Friday at 9 Eastern. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Then grease me up, woman!